So Russell Meyer's new book is out, and it's supposed to be about the other brother and the other girl. And yet, somehow, in a book that's supposed to be about them, he has found space to dig up a story involving a woman who died in 2020 to take another swing at Meghan. Yes. So let me tell you about this lady. This lady is called Lady Elizabeth Anson, and she's actually somebody I know because I was privileged to work with her. In fact, she gave me my first break in the luxury market, and this is someone I know. So I don't know her very well, but I've worked with her, and I'll just tell you a little bit about her. So she was an event planner. She actually is according to what she says, she was the first professional event planner in the UK. And she went into event planning because she needed money. She was 21, and I believe she was about to make her debut in society. Think Bridgerton, making your debut. And she then had this idea to start planning parties for other debutantes like herself. And this was in the 60s. She is first cousin to the late Queen Elizabeth, I believe, on the mother's side. So she had organized many royal events, as you can imagine, over the years, including the wedding of the other brother and the other girl. And she's also organized events for other royal families around the world. So, according to Russell Myers, when Harry and Meghan got engaged, she apparently expected to be handed their wedding too. And to be fair to her, I would say, if you have a family member who does plan parties, it's not unreasonable to think, oh, maybe they will give me the wedding. And according to Russell Myers, this is what happened. So Lady Elizabeth Anson approached Meghan directly, and Meghan told her that she would think about it and discuss it with Harry. And then Harry told Lady Elizabeth that her services will not be needed because he and Meghan were planning their wedding their own way. And that's where it would have ended. That's where it ended, because I don't think Lady Elizabeth would have had any hard feelings because, again, in our industry, this is what you do. You pitch for a job. You might get the job. You might not get the job. These things happen. And also, because of the generational divide, and also the fact that Meghan is American, she wanted to do her wedding her way. Again, no hard feelings. And I think that's the whole story, in my opinion. Bride and groom decided to organize their own wedding rather than use a planner who had been put forward without their input. And apparently, according to Russell Myers, Lady Elizabeth was so offended by this that she spent the remaining years of her life claiming that Harry yelled at her and that the Queen had been hurt beyond belief, and that Meghan was therefore the cause of it. Now, there's a lot more I can say, but I don't believe, but there's one thing I will say. I don't believe there was any yelling by Harry. And even if there was yelling, Harry wouldn't suddenly yell at his second cousin, for no good reason. This woman was very familiar with the family. And this woman was an elderly woman. And Harry, from what we know, has really good manners. So Harry wouldn't be yelling at someone unless there was a reason to. But I still don't believe he yelled at her, because these are the same people that claimed he punched his uncle when he clearly didn't, because if he did, he would have put that in his book Spare. And if he did, he would have confirmed it, because punching that particular uncle will actually be seen as a great thing. So again, and Russell Myers has now put this in his book as if it's a credible sourcing. This is a dead woman's grievance about not getting a job. And yet it made its way into a biography about the other brother and the other girl. So that doesn't make sense. If I write a biography about someone, it's got to be about them. I don't think I will be writing about incidents about their brother, uncle, cousin, or whatever. I'm going to be focusing my memoir about them. And the book is also extraordinary in claiming that the late Queen objected to Meghan's veil. And apparently the issue was that Meghan was a divorcee and the veil was considered inappropriate, both in terms of length or style for someone in that position. And I'm thinking, that doesn't make any sense. Because I want you to think about this carefully. The same Queen allowed her son, King Charles, to marry a divorced woman. Queen Camilla, she actually wore white to one of her own wedding ceremonies, and she wore a gold statement outfit to the official one. The Queen's own daughter, Princess Anne, is also divorced and remarried, and she wore white. The Queen's grandson, Peter Phillips, brought his then girlfriend, who was not yet divorced from her first husband, to royal events without any incident. So it doesn't make sense that the same Queen will object to Meghan's outfit choices because it doesn't concern her. She's already given her permission. So I do not believe that this same woman was privately outraged about the length of Meghan's veil, because she had a lot to worry about: her husband's health, her own health, and the negativity in the press. That would have been more important issues for Queen Elizabeth to worry about. But I want to talk about what the veil actually was, because anyone who researched it at the time knows this detail. Meghan's veil was hand embroidered with flowers representing all 53 Commonwealth nations. The California poppy for her own home state of California, the winter sweet from the gardens at Kensington Palace. And this was one of the most intentional and thoughtful pieces of clothing that had been worn to a royal event in living memory. It was essentially a love letter to the institution she was joining and to the countries that the institution represented. This is what I think. I think the Queen looked at the veil and thought that this was a lovely gesture. And I think that probably upset a number of people in that family, and we know who. And they decided to get their own back by making sure that this official biography included the part that the Queen did not approve. That's what I think. Because people, they use, remember what I said about people throwing stones and not showing their hands? Yes, we know who they are. So this is what I think. But let me know what you think, please, in the comments. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me. And to support my work in holding truth to power, please buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Elizabeth Slaru, or pick up a copy of my book, The Luxpreneur, at Amazon, Waterstones, or Barnes & Noble.